Alright, let's get a little spooky, why don't we? Wednesday has been one of the most purely fun shows out there the last few years, and the second half of Season 2 is nearly here, but I'll tell you what, I think things are about to get a little dark. We'll get into that though. The first half of the season has already given us shocking revelations, unexpected returns, and an ever-expanding web of mystery surrounding Nevermore Academy and the town of Jericho. And now with Part 2 just around the corner, the pieces are in place for a showdown that could change the series forever. And when we last saw Wednesday, the story had taken several major turns. Her investigation into these strange occurrences plaguing Nevermore this semester has revealed that the forces at play are far more dangerous than even she anticipated. The mysterious murders, the eerie symbols appearing around campus, and the disturbing visions haunting her dreams all seem to be connected in some way, but the exact nature of that connection remains just out of reach. At the same time, Wednesday's personal relationships have been tested in ways that force her to confront something she's never been comfortable with. And frankly, almost none of us are. The idea of vulnerability. One of the biggest shocks of the mid-season finale was the reveal that Principal Larissa Weems is back. And when Weems seemingly died at the end of Season 1, most viewers assumed her story was over. But Part 1 confirmed that her absence wasn't as final as we were led to believe. Her reappearance is teased heavily in the Part 2 trailer, and it raises countless questions. How'd she survive? Has she been hiding in the shadows, watching all these events unfold? And perhaps most importantly, whose side is she really on? Wednesday's natural suspicion means that any alliance between the two will be tentative at best, but Weems' knowledge of Nevermore's inner workings could be exactly what Wednesday needs to get to the bottom of the mystery. The trailer also gave us a better sense of the tone for the second half of the season. Things are about to get much darker, even by Wednesday standards. There are hints of more intense horror elements, with shadowy figures lurking in the background, grotesque visions, and the growing sense that someone close to Wednesday may be working against her. The supernatural forces hinted at in Part 1 seem ready to step into the light, and whatever's coming for Nevermore has been building for quite a long time now. And one of the season's major threads has been Wednesday's ongoing struggle to balance her outsider instincts with the fact that she's now part of a community that's looking to her for leadership. In Season 1, she was a lone detective, chasing clues for her own satisfaction. It was twisted in a way. In Season 2, she's become something of an unofficial protector of Nevermore, whether she actually embraces that or not. Part 2 is expected to push her further into that role, forcing her to make some difficult choices about who she can trust and how far she's willing to go to protect the people around her. The return of Weems adds a complicated dynamic to that leadership role. Weems always had a complicated relationship with Wednesday in the first place, so trying to encourage her potential while also keeping her under control has proven tough for her. But now that she's back, that tension's bound to resurface, and if the threat facing Nevermore is as big as it seems, well, the two women may have no choice but to actually work together. But the question of trust will hang over every single interaction they have, right? Meanwhile, the mystery surrounding the season's new characters are still far from solved. Part 1 introduced us to several fresh faces at Nevermore, each with their own secrets. Some have hinted at dark pasts, while others have shown abilities or knowledge that could prove crucial in unraveling the central mystery. Part 2 will almost certainly bring these subplots to the forefront, revealing how they connect to the larger conspiracy that's been brewing since the season began. Tyler's presence looms large over the upcoming episodes as well. After the events of Season 1, his return to the story has been a constant source of tension. His history with Wednesday and the monstrous form that he's capable of taking makes him both a potential threat and, who knows, maybe even a possible ally. The question of where his loyalties truly lie will most certainly come to a head in Part 2. Wednesday's encounters with Tyler so far have been charged with both suspicion and something a little more personal, and that push and pull dynamic could play a decisive role in the season's climax. The supernatural element of the show is also poised to escalate. Wednesday's psychic visions, which have always been a double-edged sword for her, seem to be growing stronger and maybe even more disturbing. In the first half of Season 2, we saw that these visions become less like clues and more like warnings for her. Part 2 looks set to explore their connection to the larger forces at work, and there's a growing sense that Wednesday herself may be more directly connected to the danger than she even realizes. One of the most talked about details from the trailer is the eerie masked figure who appears to be stalking Wednesday. Their identity is unknown, but they seem to have an intimate understanding of her movements, suggesting they may be someone within her inner circle. Tension between the familiar and the unfamiliar, the idea that the real danger could come from someone she knows is likely to play a major role in the unfolding story. The relationships between Wednesday and her fellow Nevermore students will never be more tested. Her bond with Enid remains one of the most emotional anchors of the series, but even that friendship may face new strains as the stakes rise. Enid's optimism and openness have always been a counterbalance to Wednesday's cold logic, and if Part 2 pushes Wednesday into some darker territory as we expect, then the gap between them could grow. But on the other hand, Enid's unwavering loyalty could prove to be the one thing that's actually keeping Wednesday grounded as the danger escalates. Romantic tension's also likely to come back into play. Xavier's feelings for Wednesday, hinted at throughout both seasons, have been complicated by her guarded nature and that lingering connection to Tyler. Part 2 could force Wednesday to confront these dynamics a little more directly, especially if the people closest to her end up in danger. Nevermore Academy itself may not be the safe haven it once seemed. In the first half of the season, there were several hints that the school's history is far darker than its public image suggests. Strange symbols, hidden passages, and cryptic references to the past point to a legacy of secrets that even Weems may not fully understand. As Wednesday digs deeper, she could uncover some truths about Nevermore that change the way she sees the entire institution. The final episodes of the season are also expected to build toward a major confrontation. The forces threatening Nevermore seem to be closing in, and the trailer hints at scenes of chaos and destruction on campus. There's a sense that the climax will involve not only a battle of wits, but maybe even a physical fight for survival. And whether Wednesday emerges from that fight unchanged is a whole nother question entirely. We also have to talk about royalty herself. When the trailer for the latter half of Season 2 dropped, one moment sticks out with chilling clarity. A haunting voice echoes, "Beware, there will be a price to pay." And yes, you've all heard that voice. It belongs unmistakably to Lady Gaga herself, marking her much-anticipated debut in Wednesday as a guest star who brings both intrigue and gravitas to the shadowy world of Nevermore Academy. Now, originally Netflix had announced Gaga would portray Rosaline Rotwood, described as a legendary Nevermore teacher who crosses paths with Wednesday, but the trailer doesn't show her character on screen. It simply lets her voice hang in the air, a whisper from the fringes of the story. The ambiguity around her presence deepens when even lead actress Jenna Ortega hints that she's not a teacher. "So that's your little clue," she said. That line throws fans into speculation mode. Is Gaga instead playing someone more personal to Wednesday? Maybe tied to Addams family legend or the hidden psychic lore of Nevermore? Thematically, Part 2 is likely to continue exploring Wednesday's relationship with identity and her belonging. Her sharp wit and uncompromising nature make her an icon for outsiders, but the more she invests in protecting Nevermore, the more she risks becoming attached to a place in a group of people she never thought she would. That attachment's dangerous for someone who prides herself in detachment, and it could lead to moments of real vulnerability in the back half of the season. From a tonal perspective, fans should be prepared for a shift. While Wednesday has always had its dark humor and gothic style, the first half of Season 2 still allowed for moments of levity, but the trailer for Part 2 suggests those lighter moments will be fewer and further between as the story barrels towards its climax. Expect higher stakes, more intense horror imagery, and an atmosphere of paranoia that could rival the most suspenseful moments of Season 1. And of course, because this is Wednesday Addams' story, we can also expect her to meet the danger head-on with her trademark deadpan delivery and unflinching resolve. No matter how dark things get, Wednesday has a knack for turning the tables on her enemies, and if history is any indication, Part 2 is going to give her plenty of opportunities to do just that. What makes the second half so exciting is that it feels like the culmination of everything the series has been building towards since its debut. The relationships, the mysteries, the supernatural elements, all of it is converging into a finale that promises to be both shocking and deeply satisfying. And whether you're here for the gothic visuals, the twisted plot, Fred Armisen, like I am quite frankly, or the razor-sharp dialogue, the back half of Season 2 looks ready to deliver. In the end, what fans can expect from the second half of Wednesday Season 2 is a perfect storm of horror, mystery, and character drama. We'll see old characters return in surprising ways, new threats emerge from the shadows, and Wednesday herself pushed to the brink. The answers we've been waiting for are finally within reach, but as always in the world of Nevermore, the truth is never simple, and every revelation comes with a cost. What are your predictions for Part 2? Let us know below.